Welcome back. We'll go ahead and continue on to BUMED instruction 5210.9 Bravo. Covers forms and reports management program and survey coordination. In BUMED instruction 5210.9 Bravo. So this instruction, the purpose of this is to implement reference A through J. And these references, if you look at the instruction directly, you'll get to understand most of these references that's being outlined. One of those is to implement to ensure that command authority and version control are normally maintained for all official Navy Medical Department forms. Ensure all Navy Medical Department personnel use only official forms. Establish a mentor for the Navy and Medical Inspector General to perform forms and report related inspections. So these are some of the things that you see with the instruction. You just kind of cover some things down and say, hey, these are the instructions. What category does this one falls under? What level is this? Is it level 1, level 2, level 3? So you can understand the different ones, and also express who is responsible for getting these instructions and forms updated. As we continue to use it, whether it's an electronic platform, if it is electronic, how often are we checking it to make sure that it is updated? If it's not electronic and it's in a paper form, how often are we ordering it? And if we're ordering it, what are the information we're looking for to make sure that it's actually on the form before we continue to use them? So that's what we'll be talking about. This instruction is very short. From the base, we'll just go over it real quick. Questions wise, I don't have any questions developed at this time, but maybe in the future I'll get some questions available. Now, responsibilities, you have BUMED, a lot of different individuals, playing part in this. One of those individuals is BUMED, Bureau of Medicine. Their responsibility right now is the administration part. Administer the forms and report. They will normally coordinate some of those revisions and some of those exceptions to instructions or policies that we have. So if you see a form that has to be recreated or have to be modified, these things goes to them and it goes up to BMed for final approval. It all depends on the level of forms that we're looking at. You have NAVMed region, Naval Medical Regions. These individuals appoint forms and reports manager or their management officer within 30 days. So they'll have their own report management. That's different than the Naval Medical Department activity having their own. Their functions is pretty much the same as far as report management, just about the same. So it has to be appointed within 30 days, and they have to administer and review programs. They maintain the forms index. Some of their roles normally overlap with that of the RMO too as well. So the Naval Medical Department activity appoints a form and RMO within 30 days. Again, review program assists with subordinate command, but the RMO and the RMO for the Naval Medical Department and the RMO of the Naval Medical Region is pretty much the same as far as the function goes. They share similar function. And then we'll talk about the other two. You have the Medical Inspection General and our Naval Medical Department. So we can look at what they normally do in their own working scope. The Med Inspector, Inspection General inspectors normally inspect the following. That's what they do. It's like doing auditing. Electronic version, to make sure that the electronic version is updated. It ensures that the form has the required associated required document, like the title of it, the numbers, the title, the numbers, and the addition date. Making sure that if a form happens to have a social security requirement in there, that it actually went through the proper channel for the proper approval before that could be included onto it. You also have the last section you see here is that if they find anything, if the Inspector General finds anything or any deficiency on those forms, they will report directly to BUMED. And BUMED reporting to is the BUMED M09 Bravo 3. You're going to report to him and say, or him or her, and say, hey, these are things that we found when we did our inspection. you need to find a way to fix it. All Navy and Medical Department personnel, that belongs pretty much referring to all the commands now, all the local commands, have to make sure they have copies of forms that are normally generated from an approved source. So the command now, at the command level, they'll have their own form control individuals, and that person have to make sure that all the forms that are coming out, they definitely do have updated version of it. And if there's any approved one, you want to make sure that those approved forms are being used, or the electronic approved forms are being used. They are being checked every 30 days for accuracy to make sure it's updated. Now, the form approval process, this is what the Med Inspector General will be looking for. I want to make sure that a signed DD Form 67 is required for each new revised or canceled form and must be maintained in the form's case file. What the Inspector General is looking for is making sure that if there's any new forms that has been implemented in the command, that the proper process was followed, the writing process and all those other things. And if there was a form that was canceled and it's not being used, the same process was followed too as well. All forms capturing a social security number requires a flag or senior executive service level approval prior to use. That's what they're looking for. They will look on that Form 67 and see if the approving process follow the chain of command requirement. And if it's not, then the Inspector General will report directly to BUMED and say, hey, XYZ is missing, you need to fix this thing as soon as you can. And then this is what you have, your standard form or your OF form. That will be considered your first level form. These forms are normally established by General Service Agency and or the Central Disease Control. These are the individuals that normally establish this form or use these forms. Just your regular standard form and your OF form. And that will be considered first level. And then you move on, you have your DD forms. Your DD form will be considered second level forms. Normally used by naval medical personnel that are required to use these forms. So all naval medical, again, only the medical part of the military can use this form, especially in the Navy, a naval hospital. In Army hospital, it might be different, but in the Joint Command, you'll see these forms going around. You have the Department of Navy, your SECNAV, your UPNAV, and your Navy and Marine Corps forms. These forms will be third level forms. They're normally established by the Department of the Navy, and they are used for more than one naval command. Okay. So you have those, and that will be your third level form. The thing about this form is it can be used by more than one naval command, whereas the second level form can be used by naval medical personnel at any location. As long as it's a naval hospital, they can use it. You have your BUMED, your NAVMED form, that'll be your fourth level forms. Normally your Echelon 2 will be the one that will be using these type of forms. And then you have a NAVMED regional forms that will come down from your fifth, that'll be your fifth level form from Echelon 3. Your Naval Medicine East, West, National Capital Region. These are the locations that can use these forms. So they come out and say, hey, within this region, everybody that falls under this specific region can use these forms. So they just try to break it down a little bit to make it easy. Naval Medicine Activity Forms. This is the 6th level form. The 6th and the 7th level forms is pretty much the same. Naval Medicine Activity Form, Naval Medicine Activity, it's just the same thing. So, but the ones you have to pay more attention to is the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd level, sometimes the 4th level form, just understanding which forms falls under what. Your SF and your OF form, those will be your 1st level form. Your all your DD forms will be your 2nd level. And your 3rd level forms will be your DON, SECNAV, UPNAV, and Marine Corps form. BUMED and NAVMED, that's the 4th level, but that'll be only used by Echelon 2. The rest of it, not so much. The top 4 is what you want to focus on mainly. But once again, this concludes the section about this other instruction. I wish I had more questions to ask you on this. Some of the questions that you will probably see will probably reflect in this manner. SF form is what level, or they'll give you a SF 50 days and say what level of form that is. And you just have to understand the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd level and what the distinction is between those. But once again, that's the instruction, BUMED instruction 5210.9 Bravo, that covers funds and report management, program and service coordination. BUMED 5210.9 Bravo. Thank you. Good luck.